Nike is absolutely on top of the football boot world right now. They're valued at over $190 billion, which is more than Adidas and Puma put together. They've also created some of the most iconic and long-lasting football boots of all time. But just how good is Nike's current crop of football boots? That's what we're going to be covering in this video. We'll cover the best football boots that Nike has to offer from least expensive all the way to most expensive. I'm going to be going over the pros and cons of each boot so you can help find out what's going to be best for you. These are all great boots, but they're also pretty different from one another. So based on your preferences, you can decide what's going to work best for you. I'll also leave links in the description of the video where you can get all of these boots at a discount. Starting off with the first pair of football boots on our list, we have the Nike Premier 3. Now you might notice that these boots do look slightly worn, and that's because these are my current pair of football boots. And before the Premier 3, I also owned a pair of the Premier 2s, which were another amazing pair of football boots. And one of the reasons this boot is so popular is because it's a great entry-level price point for footballers that just want something simple and comfortable. The Nike Premier 3 comes in at about $110, which is pretty much the cheapest kangaroo leather football boot that you can get on the entire market. One of the favorite things that I like about these boots is just the fit. They fit so well straight out of the box. I didn't really notice any break in time whatsoever. The kangaroo leather upper stretches really comfortably across the toe box, providing pretty good width through the midfoot and throughout the boot, and that's something that I really appreciate being a wide-footed player myself. Also, as with any leather football boot, it's important to note that the fit also improves over time. As far as tech goes, these are pretty much the simplest boots that Nike offer as well. There's not a lot of high-tech features that we'll talk about on other boots in this list. Instead, Nike just focuses on delivering something that's really quality, but a no-frills experience. These boots have a traditional lacing system with a fold-over tongue that I like the design of, but after wearing these boots for a few months, I did opt to actually cut it off, and Nike does give you that option as well. There's a thin dashed line running just beneath the tongue, which you can use to remove the tongue if you want to. Although the tongue looks great, I think that it looks a little bit more modern after removing it. Moving on to the sole plate of the Premier 3s, Nike has gone for something really simple. This sole plate features these short conical studs that are going to be great whether you're on firm ground, natural grass, or artificial pitches. And that's convenient for me because here in America, most of the pitches I play on are artificial grass, and so I usually try and use conical studs whenever I can. As far as weight goes, this is the heaviest boot on this list, but even with that being said, it still feels light enough on feet. What mostly attracts me to the Premier is that this boot offers great materials at a pretty low price. So if you just want a simple, affordable leather football boot, this is going to be a great option for you. Up next on our list, we have the Nike Tiempo Legend 9. Now, as you'll notice, these boots do look like they've seen better days because I used these boots for about 2 years straight. I played with them through mud and rain, and I probably could have taken slightly better care of them, but nonetheless, they've still lasted me really well. And in the Nike football boot family, I would say that the Tiempo Legend is a step up in quality from the Nike Premier. You still get a really pliable and soft leather upper that you would expect from any football boot at this price point, which is about $200. However, the boot is also considerably lighter than the Nike Premier 3 and feels a little bit quicker on feet. In addition to the weight savings, you also get some cool new features in the Tiempos as well. Throughout the upper, you have these sections of foam pods that are going to help slightly cushion your first touch on the ball. Additionally, you have some raised texture in the form of these tiny little pieces of grip that are going to give you a little bit more traction on the ball. But my favorite piece of tech on the Tiempos is probably in the tongue, where you have this really nice elasticated piece of mesh that gives you a little bit more lockdown than a traditional lacing system. Moving on to the sole plate of the Tiempos, you do have a few options to choose from. The typical FG sole plate is going to have a combination of bladed studs near the heel and then more rounded conical studs at the forefoot. However, I have the AG stud pattern here, which is actually one of my favorite things about Nike football boots. For all of the top-end boots on this list, Nike offers both FG and AG stud patterns. And in my opinion, they're one of the few brands that actually cares about artificial grass stud patterns, and I find them to be really well made from Nike. So if you want a higher-end leather football boot that feels super comfortable on feet, but is also really lightweight, I think the Tiempos are a great way to go. As I mentioned before, you can find the top-end Tiempo Legend Elite for around $200 at this point in time, but if you're on a budget, you can get the Takedown Tiempo Legend 9 Pro, which will only run you about $130. Only key difference between the Legend Elite model and the Legend Pro is that the Pro is going to be made of a calfskin leather as opposed to the kangaroo leather, but other than that, they're still a great pair of boots. Moving on to the next boot in our list, we have the Nike Phantom GX. Now I have to say, these are some of the coolest football boots I've ever felt, and I think they are a huge step up from the previous Phantom GT2. In one word, why do I think these boots are so special? grip knit. This is the new material that Nike have added all across the upper of the new Phantom. It feels so sticky to the touch, and it's going to add so much traction on the ball when you're using these dribbling, passing, or shooting. This is actually really similar to the approach that Adidas is taking with their Predator Accuracy model. Essentially, the idea that Nike has behind adding these elements to the football boot is to give players just a little bit more control over the ball. I think Nike just really knocked it out of the park with this new upper. It feels really comfortable, really premium, and really nice to the touch. You'll notice that with the Phantom GX, this is a two-piece upper construction with the grip knit sitting on top and then Nike's classic fly knit sitting just beneath it. Now, I will note regarding the fit on the Phantom GX, they do seem to run pretty wide throughout the midfoot, but they do taper quite dramatically towards the toe box. So if you do require a little bit more space in the toe box, these boots might not be the best option for you. But if you like a more tapered foot to your football boots, then I think these might actually be a great choice. Nike have also completely redesigned the sole plate on the new Phantom with this nice pattern of tri-star and conical studs. This is a nice innovation, and these boots are going to provide you more than enough traction on the field. I would just advise you, if you are going to be playing on AG pitches, I would definitely recommend looking at the AG variant. Now with the Nike Phantom GX, you are going to have a choice between two different models, the traditional GX or the Nike Phantom DF. The only difference you need to know about the dynamic fit variation is that those boots have an extended lace cover and an elasticated collar that forms a sock around your ankle. Other than that, the two models are going to be pretty much identical in fit and feel. I think these boots are going to be great for any player looking for a little bit more traction on their first touch and someone looking for a little bit more protection, as these boots do have at least 2 layers of upper. The Phantom GX is going to run you about $250, and then the higher cut Phantom DF is going to run you $275. Moving on to the final football boots on our list, we have the Nike Mercurial Vapor 15 and Superfly 9. If you don't know already, the only difference between the Vapor 15 and the Superfly 9 is that the Superfly has a sock around the collar, whereas the Vapor 15 is a low-cut model. Other than that, these boots are exactly identical. There was a lot of hype around the release of this new Mercurial model, and in my opinion, these boots absolutely do the brand justice. There's a lot of tech to cover with these new boots, so we're going to take you through each of the features one by one. For the upper, Nike have brought in their new Vaporposit material to cover the entire football boot. This new Vaporposit has a nice mesh material that I think provides a really nice amount of grip. As any Mercurial would, these boots wrap really tight around the midfoot, and this is what helps give you a really nice barefoot feel on the ball. Around the ankle on the Superfly and the Vapor, Nike have added some elasticated fly knit just to give you a little bit more comfort and support. But by far, the biggest new tech in these football boots is the Air Zoom in the sole plate. Now, Air Zoom is a technology that Nike have had in a lot of their other shoes for several years, but this is the first time that we've ever seen it in a pair of football boots. Essentially what this is it's a small compressed pocket of air within the sole plate of the football boot. And essentially when it's compressed, it helps give you a slight spring in your step when you're running or sprinting. And I can say pretty definitively that this is the most innovative football boot tech that's on the market right now. In addition to incorporating the Air Zoom unit, Nike have also redesigned the entire sole plate as well. The new stud pattern contains these sharp bladed multi-directional tri-stars that are going to be great for providing a lot of traction in any direction on the field. Now, it's important to mention that these are going to be the thinnest and lightest football boots that Nike offers. So if you're looking for a barefoot feel, they're going to be great for you, but if you want more protection, you might want to look at some of the other choices. That being said, if you are looking for a speed boot, you really can't beat either of these boots. You can find the Vapor 15 retailing for about $250, and then the Superfly 9 retailing for about $275. And that does it for the best Nike football boots of 2023. Let me know which one of these boots is your favorite, and I'll see you in the next video.